Here's all I ask. If you get value today, please tell a friend. You can share this episode right now, tag a friend below, or tell them your best takeaway from the show later on. That way we can all grow together. And don't forget, this is a live show, so please post your questions for Garri to answer. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So first question is, what got you into real estate?
So do you want the long answer or the short answer?
Less than 10 minutes.
Okay. All right, cool. So I was doing a bunch of stuff when I got out of high school. I got into, didn't go to college, went for college for 3 days, had to leave. My dad got sick and I had to make money. It just wasn't for me. The stuff that I wanted to learn just wasn't there. Got into selling cars. Then I met a guy at the dealership. He had a check on him for $40,000. I'm like, what do you do? Dress sharp in a suit. He's like, I'm in the mortgage business. I'm like, great. Can I come work there? And he said, sure. I went for an interview. They hired me. And I asked him, hey, that $40,000 check, was that like your yearly bonus? What was that? He's like, oh, no, I made that in 1 month. I'm like, wow, like I want in, because I'm used to making like $6,000 a month, $6,000 to $8,000 a month at the car dealership, 18 years old. I was excited.
That's really good for an 18-year-old.
Yeah. I didn't know what I was doing, man, but I guess I was selling cars.
All right.
And then I got into the mortgage business. I really wanted to quit, man. I just didn't understand the terminology, the LTV and CLTV, all this terminology. I never understood it.
Which you understand now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I was getting ready to quit. My mom said, just stick around. Like my parents said, just stick around. This could be good, and got some other mentors in my life just said stick around. So I stuck around. And 6 months after, I was the number 4th guy in the company. They had over like 300 agents. I grossed like $84,000 that month. I was 50% commission split, so I got a check for like 40-something thousand. I'm excited.
Oh, you did what you set out to do.
Yeah. I was excited. And then fast forward to 6 months pass, I had an opportunity. My attorney friend said, hey, Garri, I'm looking to open an office in Glendale. I have an office in Tustin. I want to move it to Glendale. Would you want to partner up? I'm like 21 years old or something like that. I said, sure, let's do it. Opened a mortgage company. Had no idea what I was doing. I took the chance. I'm like, he's paying for it. I'm paying with time. Let's do it, right?
Right.
So we opened the mortgage company, did really well. Went and bought my car. Was making literally on average like 40 to 50 grand a month consistently. Then 08 happens. Market crashes. I lost everything. Lost the car. We bought a house to flip under my parents' name. Lost that. I'm like, what do I do now? Like, none of these loans that I thought were going to go through are going through. What do I do? I lost everything, starting from zero. Actually negative, not even zero, negative. Got into doing loan modifications, debt settlement, that business. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not filling this business, loan modification. We got screwed with the attorney that we hired. He owed us over like six figures. We've collected a lot of money. In 6 months, we collected $500,000. He never paid us.
Wow.
Yeah. So we lost a lot of money, me and my old partner. And then we got into like debt settlement. I didn't believe in that business model. I was like, no, I'll figure something out. So I went to job hunting. I went through like different banks, CarMax, went back into the car business, just different all over the place. Before I got into flipping properties, that 1 year of time frame, I was recruited by different loan companies, mortgage companies, banks. And they paid me guaranteed salaries, $4,000 a month for 3 months. Another company paid me $10,000 a month for 3 months. And the last company paid me $7,000 a month for 3 months. The last company I was at, the manager gave me a login of new deals that would go on the market, and you had to call the realtor to see if you could get a loan out of it. And I would see short sale. I'm like, wow, so many short sales. What's up with short sales? Let me start calling some of these lists. This is 2012. Started calling, got a deal, and that's how I kind of got into the business. I got a deal. I had no money.
So they're asking you to call to do the loan.
Yeah.
And you called to buy the house.
Yeah.
There's miscommunication somewhere.
Yeah. No, I still pitched the loan thing, but
Okay.
I already knew, like, I'm leaving this business. I
Yeah.
hated sitting on the desk and just the business. It wasn't fun anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The money wasn't there anymore. It wasn't fun. So
That was a brutal job. I did a lot of short sales.
yeah.
That was a brutal job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the way my first deal, and this kind of ties in how I got into the business. My first deal, it was in 2012 or 13. I can't remember. It was like 3 a.m. I couldn't sleep, and I went on Redfin on my phone. I was looking at deals. I'm like, hey, you know what? What's up with this house? It was like 5 blocks away from where I used to live.
Mm-hmm.
I called the agent the following day. She says, Gary, I have 27 offers. I'll never forget her name, Lily Ortega. She said, I have 27 offers. What do you want to do? I said, can you put me backup offer? I have 0 money. I think I have some investors in mind. And she said, sure, I'll put you as backup. She puts me in backup. 2 weeks pass. She calls me. She said, Gary, they didn't perform. The house is yours. Do you want it? I said, yeah, I want it.
Mm-hmm.
Right away, I called my investor friends. I met one of the investors while I was working at the bank. And finally, we bought the house. I'm a partner with them. We're going to go 3 ways. We flipped the house. I'm expecting a check for $60,000. They made $180,000 profit. I'm expecting a check for $60,000. He hands me a check for $9,000. Heartbroken. Seriously, I was heartbroken. I was in tears. And that was very, very painful. At that time, my daughter was born. And I was like, man, what do I do? I renegotiated. He paid me $16,000.
Was the original agreement 3 ways?
Yeah. But
And
I was a kid. Our agreement was on paper, not really like a official document. It was just
Doesn't
paper.
matter.
Yeah. No, he knew I didn't have the money. What am I going to do? Sue him? I have no money to sue him.
Yeah.
So but God spoke to my heart. God said, I'm going to bless you a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny how that situation, years down the line, we spoke again with that individual.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of apologized, like, man, we should do some deals together and this and that. I was
Get
like,
the hell out of here.
yeah, I was like, it's all right. I'm good.
Yeah.
And
So that was 2012, 2013.
yeah.
When you did your first deal.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you quit your mortgage job.
Yeah.
And
I got fired, actually. Yeah.
Probably because you're buying houses you're supposed
Yeah.
to be doing loans on. So, okay, so you got your first job or your first deal, and then what?
So I got that. I got paid. I'm excited. I'm like, man, I need to do more of this stuff. One of the contacts I called while I was working at the mortgage company, the realtor said, I had the short sale, but I already have a buyer for it. And right away I asked him, well, do you have anything else?
Mm-hmm.
He said, yeah, I do. I have something in Paramount. I said, perfect. I want it. I was working with another investor at that time. And
Better contract this time.
yes. I thought so. And here's another funny story that happens here. So we ended up buying that house. That investor is also a real estate broker. He was supposed to give the listing back to that agent that gave us that deal. And I was a 20% stakeholder into that deal off the profit. So house is fixed. Agent never gets the realist. He screws him. I'm heartbroken. I'm like, yo, like, you're screwing my contacts. I'm trying to create a contact with this person.
Make relationships. So he ended up listing it himself. They sold it. I'm supposed to get a check for $18,000 and change. Escrow gives me a check for $10,000. I'm like, is this the business I'm in? Like, everyone's screwing each other over. Yeah.
I grab that check. I go to that agent that was supposed to get the realist back. I said, here's my check. We're having sushi. I'm like, here's my check. This is what I got paid. I'll give you half.
Mm-hmm.
He said, no, it's fine. It's yours. Keep it. We started talking about business and life and stuff. I'm like, man, I could relate to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's also a brother in Christ. We just hit it off. We looked at each other. We're like, hey, why don't we just do flips together? That business partner now that person is my business partner, Sergio.
Okay.
That's how we met.
Oh, here's the agent that got screwed.
Yeah.
Okay.
We both got screwed. Our first month bought 3 houses.
Uh-huh.
Our first deal that we bought together was an agent Larry Bofschow. I'll never forget him. And all this ties down to that $300,000 deal.
Right.
So I'm naming these people for a reason.
Yeah.
Our first deal was with Larry, and ever since we've been doing a lot of deals together.
Yeah. And then this was around when?
This is 2014, 2015, around that time.
Okay. So then you guys just hit the ground running then. There wasn't like a steady ramp up. You guys just went flying in LA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you're saying we're leading up to the 300K. I got Max right here. He's on. I think he's leaning forward, hand on his knees. Probably bouncing a little bit. He wants to know about that 300K assignment.
I'll tell you guys. I didn't know how big of a deal it was. I just thought like, okay, I gotta. Do I have it? I do have it. Every year, I write down my goals. I have it here with me. Every year, I write down my goals. This year, you see that? Make 400K on a flip or as is.
Mm-hmm.
Every year, I write down a goal. About 2 years ago, one of my things was like, I gotta make 100,000 on a deal. I did that.
Mm-hmm.
The following year, I was like, I need to make 200,000 on a deal. I did that. Last year, this is the $300,000 deal. I put it, beginning of the year, I just put it out there. And I figure out, let me just put it out. Let's see what happens. Larry, that agent I mentioned to you, he calls me.
Mm-hmm.
He actually calls me and then emails me. He said, Garri, I have this fourplex down in LA. Has foundation issues. They want I believe it was 850,000 or 800,000, one of those numbers.
800,000.
800,000
LA.
fourplex, yeah.
Man, that's really high. But anyway.
Well, that's a deal in LA. Has foundation issues. I said, all right, cool, 800,000. Right away, this was outside of my norm because we don't buy fourplexes. We're just, single one unit and stuff like that.
Yep.
Right away, I called this guy that I know, Persian guy. I said, hey, I have this house that I'm picking up. This is the address. This is what I want for it. Do you want it? Without hesitation, he said yes. I was testing him out. I was trying to see if it was a good deal. He said, I'll offer you $850. I'm like, all right, cool. So I already know I have $50,000 there I can make, right? Right away, assign it. I said, all right, cool. I said, Larry, we want it. We're interested.
Mm-hmm.
We go see the house. Right away, it was a probate deal.
Okay.
No court confirmation. The seller's there. I started building rapport with the guy. Worked for the telephone company. Built really good rapport with him. And I said, look, I want to buy this house. I'm going to, preserve it. And we truly wanted to hold on to it because we wanted to build our rental portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I'm going to sell it to you. We did our inspections because a lot of these houses built in LA are built in the 40s, 50s, 60s. They have a lot of damages.
Mm-hmm.
The sewer pipes are bad. So I do all these inspections to get a credit. So we did an inspection, got it down to $750,000.
Yeah.
We bought it for $750,000. We closed escrow. I put it on this Facebook group that buys houses off market. Right away, I got a bunch of people hitting me up. I'm like, man, there's something there. Then we got into escrow. We sold it. There were some hiccups there in that sale. I learned a lot of lessons in that transaction. We got paid. It was like a little over $300,000 we made on that deal. I'm like, man, this is incredible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right away, I took that money. We took a little bit of profit, dumped it into our Marina Del Rey project, the one I was just showing you.
Yeah.
So that was the whole story with that $300,000 deal.
And there's relationships.
Relationship is number one.
Yeah. So, and that's something that, it's kind of funny. Like your history is kind of like Kenny Caceres. I don't know if you've watched that one, but he was a loan officer. Same thing. He quit his job to go work for a loan officer. And now he gets his business from realtors.
Wow.
So it sounds very similar. So, I mean, LA, I've heard from the outside, haven't gone to check out the competition, have no desire to expand out there, but I hear it's brutal as far as like competition. I'm hearing like 5,000, 8,000, 12,000 per deal to do a deal in LA. Is that numbers that you've heard? Is that like BS? Like what?
When you say 8,000, that's like wholesale fees?
No. I'm talking about like acquisition, like cost per transaction. Like for you to do a deal, to find a deal, here's how much it costs.
So let's talk about that. Our acquisitions are nowhere near that. I have a different system of getting deals. We go after, not to get too specific, but we go after a lot of pre-foreclosures.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell clients there has to be a win-win situation. It has to be a win-win for you, a win-win for us. And we come to terms where it's a win-win for them. Because look, not every house is meant for us to buy.
Yeah.
Right? Not every house. But we also have a real estate company. So if it's not meant for us to buy, but they do want to sell, so we'll flip it into a retail transaction.
Mm-hmm.
But some clients that are losing their house, they have equity in their house, and they need a loan just to pay off their $30,000 that they owe.
Mm-hmm.
We have access to that too. So I could give them a second for $30,000, and now they caught up on their payments.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm their hero, right?
Right.
We're their hero. We're like, oh my God, we helped them out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it's time for them to sell, who are they going to come back to? Us.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of business by nurturing and just helping people out.
So you're saying you're doing second liens?
Yeah, I'm doing seconds as well.
So you're doing second liens, and then if they have a problem later on, they're calling you.
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's some sort of tracking in place to make sure their houses
Yeah,
are
we
not
have.
foreclosure.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So then you're saying that's your primary way.
Well, that's just one of the ways. We have, even if we don't give them a second, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these people they're in a situation where they need to do something. Their back's against the wall. They need to do something. They
Mm-hmm.
have a ticking bomb with the foreclosure coming up. And they've already done so many stuff where they need to do something. So we offer assistance in foreclosure prevention. We'll
Mm-hmm.
literally sit down with them. We'll figure out what their expenses are, what their income is, see if they qualify.
So you're helping them do a budget.
A budget, yeah.
And it probably helps that you have loan mod experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So we do all of that. We look at the numbers like, okay, cool. Mr. Customer, this makes sense. You could save the house. Mr. Customer, look, I mean, every month you're negative $1,000. How are you surviving? Do you have
Mm-hmm.
money under your mattress?
Yeah.
So, and with those relationships, we're able to get a lot of deals funneled to us
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot of opportunities in that little field.
Okay. So you're going in there as an advisor,
Yeah.
as a consultant,
Yeah.
and then if those other options doesn't work, then you'll list it or buy it.
Yep.
Gotcha. And we see you guys have a real estate company. Is it predominantly Sergio, or you guys actually have a brokerage?
Sergio is a broker.
Okay, Sergio's
Yeah,
the broker.
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so then how are you getting into the living room, right? How are you getting inside these houses? What's your primary marketing channel?
Two ways. Door knock, traditional,
Mm-hmm.
and phone calls.
Okay, so you have an army of door knockers?
Yeah.
How many door knockers do you guys have?
6.
6. And they're just door knocking all day?
Door knocking all day, VAs calling, sending text messages, ringless voicemails,
Okay.
the whole shebang.
Awesome. So then, door knocking is a piece that's missing in my own personal business. It's something that we look at maybe adding to our arsenal.
You should.
So, walk me through this. Let's say I'm trying to build this door knocking side of my business. What's the first thing I need to do?
Go to the door and door knock. No, you identify the leads that you're going after, right?
Mm-hmm.
Identify the leads. You go to these people, you door knock, and just build a relationship with them. You tell them, hey, look, I understand you're getting a lot of calls, investors trying to call you, trying to buy your house. Look, I'm here.
These nasty vultures.
Yeah, I'm here to literally assist you and
Yeah.
figure out what you want to do. And since we have the second liens I could offer them, we have all these tools.
Mm-hmm.
I'm confident when I go in there, right? Because I know if they have equity in that house, I could offer them money
Mm-hmm.
to save them from getting foreclosed on. If they don't have equity, now I go through their budget because I have the knowledge to do that.
Right.
And we'll not only me, but everyone on our team knows how to do that. And we'll sit down and we'll give them analysis. Okay, look, this makes sense. This doesn't. I think the best option in your situation, since you're upside down, is doing a short sale.
Mm-hmm. So there has to be something, though, to, because when you knock on a door, they're typically not wanting to open a door, right? They're being harassed by investors, by debt collectors, by other people. So they typically don't want to answer the door. So their guard's really high, right? Am I wrong?
Our approach is non-confrontational. Like we have like literally like uniforms that we wear with our other company, and we go there with our clipboard and we just knock on their doors. Hey, look, we're not trying to intrude you. We understand like you're going through a lot of hardship right now. We want to offer you solutions. We're not interested in buying your house, but if that's an option, we'll entertain it.
All right. So there you go. You go in and say, we're not here necessarily to buy your house. We're here to help you.
Yeah.
But if you need to sell your house.
Sure. Yeah. But that you got to go through the motions with these people. It's not just, hey, knock on the door. Okay, you don't qualify. Cool. We're going to buy your house. No, you got to, you might have to submit a loan mod. We don't charge any money for that.
Yeah.
You might have to do certain things to for them to go through the stages.
Okay. So then going back to you're talking about the second lien, do you have a budget? Do you say like this is the max amount I want to do in a second lien?
Yeah. So we partner up with a few individuals that have I don't want to say unlimited money, but a lot of money. And
I thought everyone's rich in LA.
Right? They have their criteria is 65% CLTV.
Okay.
So if it fits in that, location is cool, they'll lend.
Okay, so do a second up to 65.
Yeah.
So if it's like a whole lot, like I don't know, 300,000 in equity, they'll do 100,000 as long as it's on the 65.
Yeah.
Cool. What's the interest rate they charge on that?
12%.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So if it's $100,000 loan, $1,000 a month.
Right. Fair enough. So then, one of the questions I always like to ask a lot is.
Sorry, and it's a 5-year term.
Okay. So it's balloon payment.
Yeah.
So one of the questions I like to ask a lot is, how's your operation different than everybody else? It sounds like it's the door knocking consultative approach. Is your cold calling approach the same way?
Yeah.
So you're calling to offer solutions. You're not calling just like, are you looking to sell your house for cash?
Yep.
Gotcha. And then your target.
Sorry, that I think that wave is played out. Everyone's calling that.
Everyone's doing it.
And now it comes to a point where, well, this investor offered me $100,000. How much are you gonna offer me? Oh, 105. Oh, this one offered me 105. How much can you offer me? 110. There's no relationship in that.
Yeah. It's purely transaction.
Yeah. It's purely transaction, and I don't want to fight that battle. It's not a win-win for us.
Okay. And so for that reason, you're saying your cost per transaction is not in the thousands.
No, not at all.
So what is your cost per transaction?
Hundreds.
Man, I bet some of your friends are jealous. Okay, so then you don't do a lot of wholesaling.
No.
Any wholesaling?
No.
Okay.
Wholetail, we bought a lot of houses, sold it as is.
So wholetail or flip, that's basically it.
Yeah.
How much wholetail and how much flipping?
90% flipping, maybe 10% wholetail.
Okay.
On the wholetails, like it has to be like home run deals where we're making like 150, 200, 300,000. Or else I'd rather just flip it.
Okay. And so Todd Toback was on the show yesterday, and his thing was about thinking big.
Yeah.
Right? People think too small. So for him, like, it's like they're targeting 50K assignment fees, right?
Okay.
But if you're flipping, then, you were talking about you used to be happy making 30K.
Yeah.
And I heard something crazy last year, not crazy for you, but crazy to me, was Jason Boozy was saying, I think, in wholesaling houses full time, if I'm not making 100K, it's not worth my time.
Yeah, that's true.
And I was like, man, I would love to be like that guy.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful mindset, because at that time I was totally happy with 3,000 and 5,000 assignment fees. 3,000 or 5,000.
No way.
Well, at the time.
Yeah, got you.
Right. So now our target is 15,000 to 18,000 on the assignment fees.
Gotcha.
But when I heard that 100,000 is not worth my time, I was like, wow, that's crazy. And then Haim was here last week, and he said the same exact thing.
Yeah.
100,000, or is that worth my time?
Yeah.
So you said that you had an epiphany. You were at 30,000, and then.
Oh yeah. Now if we're not making 100,000 minimum, I mean, I'll take 80,000, right?
You'll settle for 80.
Yeah. No, look.
That's like if someone gave me a Lamborghini, I'd drive it.
Right.
I'm not even gonna try to buy it.
So, I mean, look, we always try to shoot for $100,000 minimum deals, but sometimes things come up. You'll make $60,000, $50,000, whatever the case is. But if I know from beginning stage of purchasing the property, I'm gonna make $30,000, I don't even touch the deal. There's a lot of wholesalers out in LA that will tie up houses in through just regular retail. They'll tie them up and they'll try to wholesale it to them. I don't even watch those deals. There's another company, not to mention names, but
you can mention names.
New Western. waste of time.
Yeah, they're catching a lot of flack right now.
Yeah.
They're building a really bad brand for themselves right now.
I don't know. I've known them for a while back in LA. All their deals are loser deals.
Yeah.
And I don't I get those deals emailed to me. I don't even touch it. Doesn't make sense.
Right. So then, when did you make the decision? Like, if it's not 100K, because you were at 30K and you were happy.
Yeah, we were.
So, which point did you make the decision to go from?
It was like 2 or 3 years ago. 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Some things changed in the LA market. For those of you that are in LA, you guys will know this. ADUs. I think I showed the garage conversions. So now you have a structure that's there. You could convert that structure, which is going to cost you maybe 30, 40 grand. And now you're making like $300, $400, $500 a square foot. Some areas like Marina Del Rey, the project I have, you're at almost $1,000 a square foot.
Right.
So it's a no-brainer just to convert that. Now 2 things happen. A, you're going to make money. B, the person that's buying it, they can rent it out, supplement their mortgage payments. So it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah. But you're saying the ADUs is basically when you had this mindset shift.
Yeah, the ADUs like 2 years ago. And we were just kind of spinning our wheels like, man, what are we doing wrong? We're taking anything now, right? At that point, we're just like, all right, get us deals. Now it's like we're picking choose. Okay, cool. We want this one. We don't want this one. This one is more for retail. We'll just do a retail. I mean, the commissions we're going to make in LA on a $500,000 house at 6%, that's 30 grand. Half of that, 15 grand, I'll take that all day long without having to do any risk.
Right.
Just picking and choosing the right deals.
And I think also part of your calculation is that you're splitting everything 3 ways. Or is that not part of the calculation?
No, not everything's split 3 ways. It's Sergio and I. We do have sometimes different partners that come in. We will split 3 ways. But if it's a deal Sergio and I get, it's just him and I. But we do offer partnerships to people that bring us deals or they canvas themselves. They'll partner up with us and we'll go 3 ways.
So I find a deal for you, right, in LA. And I just found it and I bring it to you and you guys buy it, flip it, and list it. What percentage of profit am I getting for being the guy that brought it to you?
It all depends on the profit, right? If it's a $30,000 deal, I'll tell you, just don't even bother. Like, you do it on your own, right?
But
I'll help you. If it's 100, we'll go 3 ways.
So split 3 ways. Yeah. That's really generous.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what does your organization look like today?
We like to keep our organization small, man. It's right now at Sergio it's about 7 of us that's in the office. We have a bunch of like outside people just bringing in deals, but full-time 7.
Okay. So the 7 people, what are their roles?
Just acquisition, man. Everyone's acquiring. Sergio is one of the counselors. I'm one of the counselors. We have a bunch of like 4 or 5 counselors. We have junior counselors. Their job is to become senior counselors.
So even on the title, like on the phone, we can have a counselor over to your house.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's a completely different conversation.
Or just to take a step further, we invite them to our office, right? Because now you have more control. Now they kind of need you. When you go desperately to their house, they don't really, I don't know, it's
positioning.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and it's your home court versus their home court.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so it's mostly counselors.
Yeah.
All right, so the cold calling, RVM texting. So the cold calling, in office, out of office?
In. A few of the guys are in, and we also have VAs in the Philippines calling.
Okay. And then those guys that are calling in the office, what do you pay those guys?
It's all commission.
Okay, so they get a percentage of the profit.
Yes.
What do you pay?
Or sometimes we'll pay them up. Like, everyone's different. Sometimes some people need money up front. I'll give them money up front. Anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000, I'll pay them up front. We also have a back end deal. We'll give some money now, and then we'll do a draw against the back end deal. So it depends on the person who, how much experience, how much deals they have, all that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 up front. Also anywhere from 10 to 20% on the back end. Sometimes 33% on the back end.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's humongous.
Yeah. Look, I know that I've heard what people pay out there. I've been in a position where I was an employee,
Mhm.
and I want to make sure everyone on my table eats equally, you know?
Yeah.
Because I know how hard these deals are to get.
Mhm.
And if someone's going to go out, get a deal, they're not getting hourly, they're not getting anything, I want them to eat equally with us.
Yeah, they're taking the risk with you.
Yeah, of course.
There's no disposition, obviously, because this is the MLS,
Yeah.
right? And you sell everything through the MLS, I
Yeah.
imagine. Okay. So we were talking about the marketing techniques. So pulling data, where are you pulling data from?
Same place as everyone else, man.
County?
Sorry, I'm checking my text because my wife is pregnant and she's due. I want to make sure she's not texting me, hey, I'm giving birth. So we are pulling our list through, my best source I like is Property Radar.
Mm-hmm.
That's like my go-to place. There's list stores, there's Rebo Gateway, there's all that stuff. But Property Radar is like, I made millions of dollars with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And then you're only in LA, or you're in other, like, do you go
Just
outside LA?
We are looking to expand. We're in LA.
Mm-hmm.
We are looking to expand. I have my buddy Matt out in Fresno. We're looking at that market.
That's the Matt that reached out to me.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're looking at Fresno.
I heard he's a killer.
Oh, he's a stud.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just a good person, man. Good person. Fresno, Bakersfield, that area. I have my other friend Matt out in Riverside. So we're kind of like, our goal is to expand and maybe go nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the plan.
Okay. And then, seeing as how you run a flipping organization versus wholesaling operation, what are some of the key KPIs that you guys are tracking?
So obviously you got to track you got to track the contractor, right? What they're charging you.
Mm-hmm.
Some contractors give you a price and they'll try to make it up on back end deals where they'll tell you, this came up, that came up, and now the $30,000 budget went to $50,000. Like, man, what happened? It's cutting down in my profits. So the relationship I have with my contractors are very solid at this point. Obviously, in the beginning, it wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
It got to a point where we had a crew we were running, 3 crews of 4 people each crew.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a nightmare, man. Paying everyone every week. I was writing more checks than writing myself checks. It was crazy. So we stopped doing that. Man, the KPIs are very important, but I don't look too much into it. I mean, I probably should, because our profits are so big and so large. Like, I don't pay too much attention to that. To be quite frank with you.
Hey, I get it. And as far as deal flow, you said, we were talking earlier, on this Marina Del Rey, you're gonna, pop 250. I was like, man, that's incredible. You said, no, hang on, that was a 12th month ordeal.
Yeah,
right?
A little over 12 months. Yeah.
So it's really not like those numbers are sexy, but they also take a long time to.
So the Marina Del Rey was my longest project. I have me, Sergio, another partner, and the way we structured that deal, we brought in private funds. One of my partners' dad brought in a bunch of money. He had some friends brought in a bunch of money. So 80% of it was already funded.
Mm-hmm.
Between me, Sergio, and Sean, we brought in the other 20%,
mm-hmm.
plus the construction cost. And we funded the deal. Our agreement with them was not to charge us any monthly payments.
Mm-hmm.
Charge it at the back end when we sell. So it's beneficial for us, right?
Right, cash flow situation.
Yeah, cash flow, yeah. And that happened. We should be closing escrow next week. All the contingencies are waived. Yeah, it was a nice deal. I told Sean, I was telling Sean, we found a little niche in that specific market, that Marina Del Rey market,
mm-hmm.
that specific zip code, and that niche, that market, you could buy a tear down for like $1 million, 1.1. Tear down, build a 2,500 square foot house. It'll cost you about like $450,000, $500,000. So with the acquisition, you're like 1.6. The exits on those are like 2.3.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a concept of design and stuff. People loved it. The area loved it. Now our next goal is to do same Spanish modern, but 2 stories with the pool, and we could get 2.3 all day long. Those are like 500,000, 600,000 profits.
Yeah.
So that's my like shift.
Man, maybe I do need to hang out with you in LA. So, so then deal flow. I mean, you have these huge spreads. You don't really need to do a lot of flips with these huge spreads.
No.
So, like, how many are you flipping, like finished flipping per month?
It's hard to gauge per month because, like sometimes there'll be a month where you buy 8.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean you flip those 8, right? It takes 4 or 5 months to flip.
Right, because some people will say, like, I've got 20 flips going on, and it sounds like they're doing a lot, but really, 20 flips going on is like maybe like 2 or 3 per month.
Yeah. So right now, as of today, if I even show you, I have 8 flips that we own that we're working on. Next month, I could buy 2. I could buy 0. I don't know. But on average, we'll do probably between 40 to 50 flips a year. Mm-hmm. Some months are 8 deals. Some months are 5 deals. Some months are no deals. Yeah. So it all varies.
Yeah, that's really impressive with the margins you guys are doing. Okay, so then marketing. Like, what is your monthly marketing cost?
So our marketing is the VAs we're paying no more than like $5 to $10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. No more, like at all. Yeah.
Man, it's nuts. So then, what about monthly total overhead then?
So we just got a new office in Whittier. That's the overhead. I didn't have overhead. We're like literally, I was working from home. Mm-hmm. Sergio had an office in Downey. We had a cell phone bill. We had property radar subscriptions.
Yeah.
I use Evernote. I have that, $9.99 a month.
Right.
Our overhead is very minimal.
Very low.
Very low.
Yeah. Which makes the margins even more sexy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So then, are there any valuable resources that you think the listeners need to be aware of to run a flipping business to the level that you're running yours at?
Don't get caught up in the hype. Nothing against wholesalers. I love you guys, but don't get caught up in the numbers they share with you. Do your due diligence extremely well. Mm-hmm. Make sure you know your cost, because a wholesaler might say it's $20,000 cost to fix this house, but you bring a real contractor, he's telling you $50,000. Mm-hmm. You bring another contractor, he's telling you $40,000. So you're like, there's no way I could do it for $20,000.
Right.
So know your numbers really well. Know your exit really well. How much you're going to sell it for. Talk to a few local agents in that area. Figure out what these homes are going for. Tell them, hey, if I have this house fixed up and this is the address, what would you list it for? Mm-hmm. Show me some comps. What have actually sold? Look at sold comps in the last 6 months. Go a quarter-mile radius. Then go out from there, half a mile. I try to stay away from a mile. So yeah, just be very due diligent. A lot of this stuff, like when I first started, you got to reverse engineer everything, right? Mm-hmm. See who the players are. Talk to them. See who the lenders are in that area, in your specific area. I knew who my lenders were, my hard money lenders. I interviewed with them. I went to talk to them. Hey, like, Dennis, what can you offer me? There's a lender in Burbank. Hey, the other guy at Aztec. Hey, what can you offer me? And they told me this is what I could offer you. Then I spoke to those people that actually flipped that house. Hey, what did Dennis offer you, right? And just kind of like that, I got an idea. And then I pretty much said, hey, these are the terms that I want. Can you do it? And they ended up doing it.
Right. So then it sounds like having relationships with realtors is important to your business.
Yeah. A lot of people they get caught up in the money. And I always say it's not the money that we make. Mm-hmm. It's the memories that we create. That's number one for me. Like, if you and I could have a relationship and we create memories together, now our kids know each other playing and stuff, years down the line when we're like 60 years old, we're going to be like hanging out. We're going to be talking about not the money we made, mm-hmm. but the memories we created.
Yeah.
That's kind of like my whole thing. I want to create a lot of memories with just the core guys that are with us. Mm-hmm. And eventually my end game is not to do flips, not to do all. I mean, that's great development. My end game is to have residual income.
Yeah.
Through, apartment buildings or commercial buildings.
That should be all of ours, right? Like, we're all making a lot of money, but we're actively working.
Yeah.
Okay, so are there any CRM tools or systems you could not live without?
So the CRM, we have it done, finally. We were using Excel. I'm just being transparent. We were using Excel, not the best, but it was working for us. Excel and Evernote did very well for us. Now we're at a point where we got a guy named Mike, Wholesale Hackers. He set up our CRM for us. Now we're actually flying out tonight to meet up with him to finalize the entire systems.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be our new thing, but it's been Excel and Evernote, to be just quite frank with you.
It's very different.
Yeah.
So with your business, I mean, typically you're paying what kind of interest rates on these loans?
All right. I don't know. I was told not to mention this by my lender, but
Well, not that lender, just in general.
Okay. Special shout out to Lending Home. I love you guys. You guys are family. So anyway, I get rates anywhere from 7% all the way to 8.5%.
Okay.
Depending on the down payment.
So do you have like anything in like the back of your brain, back of your hair, hair in your neck, like if something happens in the market?
No, not at all.
No.
Not the spreads that we have.
Right, because the margins are where you're at.
Yeah.
Even if you had to break even, you could still break even.
Which I could confidently tell you this. I've never lost any money on any deal.
Yeah.
0.
That's impressive. What is your why?
My why?
Mm-hmm.
My why is my family. I grew up like broke. We grew up I was on welfare, I came here like when I was 5 and with my family. They escaped, there was a war going on, and I was just tired of living that life where I wanted more for my family. I have my own family now, and I wanted to win for my family. So my why is just providing for my family a life that I didn't have, and them not stressing about money, because money is one of the biggest things that why couples break and families break. And I don't want that to be a reason, and I want to create wealth for my family and generational wealth.
Right. Yeah. That's huge. Guys, don't forget, this is a live show, so if you guys have questions, please, fire away. What is your biggest struggle right now?
Our biggest struggle is too many deals, not enough cash.
Yeah. But I mean, there's got to be more lenders available.
So I'm in the works now with my lender, our preferred lender that we work with, to do 100% financing with acquisition and rehab.
Yeah.
That's what we're working on. They just opened up a broker shop. We're going to broker out deals to them as well. So that's another avenue that we're going to make income from. But our end game with our lenders is to get 100% financing with rehab included.
Yeah.
Because our margins are so big, and I mean, we've done a lot of business with them.
Right. The risk is not that high for them.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your superpower?
My superpower is I like to connect with people on a deeper level, not just, hey, what's up? People text you, hey, what's up? I'm good. How are you? Good. Okay, cool. That just doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I want to know, like, hey, let's sit down for a drink or whatever. Like, let's figure out, like, hey, man, where are you struggling? I'll tell you where I'm struggling, right? Let's have a conversation where maybe I tear up, you tear up. Let's go deep, like deep.
Right.
Because, we live in a world where there's just so much fluff out there. A lot of cats, I like to call it, are posting stuff with their cars and their this and that, which is cool. Look, I did that. It's great. But life is more than that, right?
Yeah.
What about the lady that's struggling that doesn't have that, right? Go talk to her. Like, I remember when I visited Armenia. I went to Armenia the last 2 years. Even though I'm Armenian, but I wasn't born there. And I saw grandma. A lot of stories. I mean, that's a different subject. People struggling, man, making $100 a month, $200 a month.
Yeah.
And, you give them a little bit of money, you give them hope, talk to them, hug them, Now you gave them encouragement. These people cry. But now, like, you could be an influential person to these people. I don't know, I want to be at a position where I could help people and leave an impact on this earth before I expire.
Yeah. Make a dent in the universe.
Yeah.
Same thing. Same thing I want to do. What is the greatest lesson you have learned?
People need to know, in flipping, people need to know when to walk away from a deal. Don't let money control you. We've walked away from a lot of deals where there's huge profits. You just need to know how to walk away from deals.
Can you elaborate what that means?
Yeah. transactions where there could be a shady situation happening with, not to get too technical, but let's just say shady situations. And you as an agent or as an investor, you could get involved and make a lot of money on like just doing not the right thing, by lying to the sellers that are struggling, putting yourself on title. I mean, doing all kinds of, and I've seen it. I've seen people cloud titles. I've seen people do all kinds of stuff, putting themselves on title. This new thing that I'm hearing people talk about is stealing people's equity. I'm like, oh my God, like really? Like this is not even, yeah, there's you're going to hear a lot about this right now.
What are you talking about?
It's happening when people are talking about stealing people's equity.
Like, how would they do that? I mean, that just seems like a really obvious way to go to jail.
You know, a lot of guys that are in the industry or getting in the industry, they come from that mentality of quick buck. And, you know, I'll even show you them on Instagram, you know, people talking about that, just stealing equity. But I don't know if it's a marketing thing or what kind of thing it is. It's just the wrong way of doing business, because I don't want anyone to steal my equity, and I don't want anyone to steal my parents' equity. I'm sure no one wants to steal your equity as well. So I'm seeing a lot of stuff, man. This industry, I think, needs a change, a positive change. There's a lot of fluff out there, and I think if we all do a better job of identifying those people and kind of telling, hey, having a talk with them, look, you're not doing a good thing. Trust me. Yeah, you're maybe your pockets are getting full, but what are you really doing? Are you really happy going to sleep at nights?
Right.
You know. So.
Yeah. Okay. And then, do you have a favorite, best, or most interesting failure?
Failure? So, quickly talk about that $300,000 deal. There is a failure part, or not a failure, but a lesson learned in that part.
Yeah.
And I didn't talk about that, which I'll talk about it now. So at the moment we bought that house, the mistake that I made is I should have never posted that or sold it. I should have posted it, but I never should have sold it to the people from that group. Once I got a gauge of where the value is, because Sergio and I, we were like, let's just list it for 1.1 million. Let's see what happens. I put it on that group, and sure enough, man, we got people calling us. And few of them already sent offers. They went to see the house, they sent offers. Our mistake was we should have saw that and right away put that house on the MLS. Because what happened was, when we got into escrow, these people weren't performing, and they were taking their sweet time. We kind of left it alone because we were like so excited about the money, the margin. We're like, okay, let them take their time. It's cool, you know. But then like, it's costing us money because we have mortgage payments to pay, right? And then it come to a point where we just don't hear from them. So we're like, all right, I guess it's done. You know, we emailed escrow to cancel, but there's a couple steps we didn't do, and we put it on the MLS. Sure enough, right away we got a full offer, 1.15. Like, oh my God, full offer, and they don't want credit, they don't want anything. 1 week passes by, they already got their approval, they're ready to fund. We get a call from the original buyer. Yo, we're gonna file a list pending. Stop. This house is ours. We're moving forward. So we had to cancel the other escrow. We paid commissions to that agent. So it was a big mess, learning lesson. So the lesson learned there, it was any house you have, Wholetail, put it on the MLS. We have access to it. It's not costing us anything.
Right. Yeah. So then you're not going to post on Facebook anymore.
I'll post just to get a gauge, but I for sure will go on the MLS.
But you're not going to contract.
Yeah, no.
Gotcha. Oh, that makes sense. It's kind of like what we do with the coming soon on Zillow.
Yeah.
We'll put on Zillow, it's like, there's too much activity. We maybe wrong price, or it's crickets.
Yeah,
we might be overpriced.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, awesome. Sish Shanika wants to know, what group did you post it in?
Oh man, it was some Facebook group in LA.
Some sort of buy sell real estate group in LA.
Yeah, it was within Facebook. Was a group in LA that buys off market houses.
Yeah. Awesome. Is there a book you've gifted more than any other?
Book? No, man. I always, my guys, Carlos and them, they told me about that book, Outwitting the Devil. I've been telling a lot of people about that book on
It's a
Audible.
great book.
Yeah.
It's a great book.
This new one I just read, which I got as a gift, The Carpenter. My guy, Matt, he was one of the contest winners when I had my Lambo. He gave me this gift, and I opened it. I started reading, and it grabbed my attention. It talks about 3 things that people like should be doing in life. You got to serve people, you got to love people, and you got to care for people. And this carpenter teaches you lessons about those 3 things. Changed my life. I loved it. The message from that book was amazing.
How long ago was this?
A few months ago, like 6 months ago.
Awesome. All right, guys. We do have, you guys in the Phoenix market, we do have our meetup tomorrow night at Dave & Buster's, 4:30. Dave & Buster's in Tempe. We got Jamil, my business partner Max. He'll be presenting. And then next week, we got James Hodges coming in to talk about his business. And again, if you guys like the show, please share this episode right now. Please subscribe. If someone, last question is, what last message would you like to leave with the listeners?
Look, guys, I know there's a lot of people out there teaching and doing all kinds of stuff, which is great, right? You got to learn somewhere. But I also tell you guys this thing. I did this hashtag. I don't know if you saw it, fact check your guru. And I truly mean that. You got to fact check everyone that's teaching nowadays, because this reminds me in the mortgage business. When I got into it, 6 months later, like literally your plumber was a loan officer, your gardener was a loan officer. Everyone became loan officers overnight. And now everyone's teaching, because this information is, I think, pretty simple, right? You go get your list, you skip trace your list, and you call, and you got I mean, it's not rocket science. But where I think the power is building that true rapport with those people, right? You got to build honest, good rapport with people. And when they like you, once you become a best friend with them, it's done deal. You could do whatever you want with them, as long as it's ethical and you're doing the right thing for them first, for you second. And if it's a win-win, the deal will go through. If it's not, it'll fall through. So fact check your guru. Make sure they're actually doing deals. And if you want to get into the flipping business, go check out some of their flips. See what they're doing.
Yeah, and I think it's a good point to hit on here. Quentin mentioned this on the episode earlier, but I asked you for your settlement statements. I get a lot of people asking to be on the show. I was like, hey, that's great, no problem. I don't know who you are really.
Yeah.
Or even if I do know you, like, let's have some settlement statements to support.
Which was huge. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so happy he actually did this.
Yeah. So, and I think that's great, right? Fact check your guru, because it's in a different industry. So my idol is Darren Hardy, and he says, like, if a financial advisor, to qualify to be his financial advisor, you need to send him your tax returns.
Right.
Your investment portfolio. And if there's a good track record, then great. If you don't have a good track record, if you're not good with your money, stay the hell away from my money.
Yeah, my mentor used to say, you can't have your financial advisor be your next door neighbor, right? You're on the same financial area, right? Financial situation. So, yeah, I'm with you, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. So fact check your guru. And that's so Corey Thompson, I don't know if you're connected with him, but he's got this whole thing with, what is it, Screw-roos, F the gurus. No HUD gurus. I think that's my favorite one.
Oh, no HUD gurus.
No HUD gurus. Like, don't listen to the no HUD gurus. Yeah.
I like that. Add fact check your guru to that list too.
Fact check your guru.
Yeah.
If someone wants to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
Instagram, first and last name, Garri, Garri_Tigranyan, Tigranyan. Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for tuning in. And thank you. This was awesome.
Brother. God bless. Thank you.